Hello, sports fans. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Thank you for stopping by our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe and notifications toggle so you never miss a thing. All of our content up here every day. Looking forward to it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the radio.
Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, brought to you by the Hard Truth Distilling Company in Brown County, Indiana.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, time! 3 on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! Float game for the win! Ayler's gone! Goodbye, touchdown, Indy! Woo! America! They got a football team now!
Pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, from the Hard Truth Studios, here's Jim Coyle.
Welcome back to the Hard Truth Distilling Company studios on this Monday, and we should call it Championship Monday because, and if I didn't have to get if we wouldn't get a hit for it, I'd be playing "We Are the Champions." But that's as best you get. But we've got the champion, Sherron Wilkerson, head coach of the Jeffersonville Red Devils. First of all, thank you for on such short notice making a point to be with us. But brother, congratulations!
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much, my friend. Obviously, as always, man, thank you for having me on, Jim.
Thank you, man. It was such a great atmosphere, first of all. That entire day was great basketball. The crowds were great. The Jeff crowd, the Fishers crowd, man, it was loud. All of the coaches that was there, it was a spectacle. It was truly a great, great spectacle of Indiana high school basketball.
I mean, I think it was the epitome of what Indiana high school basketball is supposed to be, Jim. It's great basketball, all 4 games, and IHSAA did a really, really good job of making us feel at home and making the day very special.
And as good as Jeffersonville was going into that game, as good as you guys have been, you gave you guys a chance of beating Fishers, not so much because of Jeffersonville, but because of what Fishers had accomplished before that. They hadn't been beaten since the dawn of time, it seemed like, coming off of a state championship. They were loaded. They got Jason Gardner Jr., John Anthony. Dude, you know how I described him to somebody? You know those mannequins they use to show you the new sports uniforms?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
That's what he reminded me. I'm like, God, he looks like a mannequin, an athletic mannequin. That dude is he's going to Stanford to play football, but the most dominant player on the court was without question Trey Singleton, and not that Jeffersonville did it alone at all, but he was the most dominant player on the court that night.
Jim, I would tell you, I think that the state of Indiana got to see Trey Singleton in full display. High character young man, good in the classroom, terrific family, but he's a pro in my humble opinion, and obviously he's got to stay healthy. Got to make sure that he continues to mature in the areas that he's that he's deficient, but. By all accounts, Jim, the kid he's special.
Well, and there's a lot of specialness going on here, and I know you don't want to make it about yourself, and it's not, but you did something which afterwards you ended up being correct. The Star has you as being the second person to ever win a championship as a coach and a player, and then Greg Rakestraw kind of said, well, there's one caveat. Pete Turgovich, kind of a familiar name to people if you know anything about Indiana high school basketball, but he coached a consolidated school to a state title. But Pete Turgovich, by the way, beat Floyd Central at the Final Four back in 71. So it just all this stuff keeps coming full circle. But to be one of the absolute few people to do that, that has to be special for you, I know.
Divine intervention. It's divine timing. It is. Like you put that in perspective, Jim, and it's and I genuinely mean that, right? Like so many things, so many different people I have met through this journey. And I'm not for sure that I would have met them if this journey would have played out any other way. And Jim, and I will tell you that the people that I met on this journey were people that I had to meet in order to learn what I had to learn. It's kind of it's the craziest thing. And there's no other way to describe it. It's divine intervention, and I just happen to be the vessel that is being used.
Well, it's more than refreshing just to hear someone see life in that direction. But man, the fruits have been amazing. When Trey missed, Trey Singleton had a chance to win it in regulation after Jeff got the ball back. And when he missed that little 6-footer in the lane, I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? But it didn't matter. You guys were able to do what most people didn't think you could. And even I look forward to talking to Kyle Nettenrip, because he said after watching you guys in June, he was convinced that you guys would be a serious state contender and potentially the number one team, with Fishers losing Keenan Carter and Tandon Metzger, which also Jalen Harrelson a few years ago, but it didn't matter. They were just like this juggernaut. That was I don't want to compare them to Marion or something like that, because those guys were giants on their own, no pun intended. But they were you couldn't beat them. They kept finding ways to win, and it looked like when Trey missed that final shot that they had that last gasp breath of air, but it just wasn't to be. Jeffersonville was destined to win this thing.
Well, I think you just hit the key word, destiny. And I've told everybody, you have to have some luck. I think you can control the controllables to get yourself there and give yourself an opportunity. But to get it done, to climb the peak of it, you have to have some luck. And we was very lucky last night. I think just remembering off the top of my head, the stat sheet, they had more offensive rebounds than we had total rebounds. And that's one of our point of emphasis, Jim, going into each game. We want to dominate the glass. And we was not able to do that. We was not able to do that in a championship game, and we were still able to come out on the winning end.
Yes, you were, and it was awesome to see. Now, what does this do? You've never won a state championship as a coach. Most guys haven't. Now, what does that do? How do you put that into perspective as you have guided these young men? What was the reception like? I was sitting there thinking, man, there's going to be thousands of people in Jeffersonville at 1 a.m. or whatever time you guys get home.
So we arrived at the gym right at about 2 a.m. And we got in here, Jim, and it was probably 1,000 people waiting for us. And it was like words can't describe it. Like you have to be in that moment and feel that energy. You have to be in the moment and feel the environment, if you will. Like it's extremely powerful. And being able to experience it twice, like this is once in a lifetime. And to be able to experience it twice, obviously once as a player and now full circle as a coach, it's God's will. It's no other explanation.
Tyrone wants to know, when's the parade down Spring Street, baby?
So right now, my administration is in the middle of meeting and setting all these things up. It takes a lot. Obviously, we've been dealing with a lot of things that come along with being successful at this level. And my administration, bless their hearts, they've been thrown in a whirlwind, and they've done a really good job of responding. This is something that don't happen every day, Jim. And this is something that most administrations typically don't have to juggle, along with, getting students to experience a normal school day. So it's been a lot to juggle, but they've done an absolute wonderful job. And we're in the middle right now of getting plans out, and we will be making a public statement and letting the community know what our plans are.
And now you go forward, there's going to be all these eyes. They're always on Jeffersonville, which it's not like you guys were sneaking up on anybody to begin with. But you got the target even more so on your back going forward. You're one of them now, man. You're one of them.
We like being in this role, Jim. I think that it's a role that you embrace, right? It's not often that you get to be chased Typically you are the one that's chasing. You are the chaser, if you will. So to be in this position, we're very humbled. I think that's important that people understand that it's not an arrogant look at me, I told you so. Definitely. But I will say this, Jim, it is an opportunity to purge the negative energy and the naysayers, right? Like you carry that around and it gets pretty heavy, as you're going through the battle, as you're traveling that road. So to finally cross the finish line, to be able to relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor is priceless.
And I know that you're not thinking this consciously, but I also would be remiss to say that there's no way you're not aware of it. But, all of the different coaches that are sitting there along the floor, whether it's Micah Shrewsbury from Notre Dame or Darren DeVries and assistants from Indiana, or Chris Collins from Northwestern, or AJ Moya, your friend from longtime assistant coach, all these guys that were there. That I know that during the game you're not thinking of that, but that they're there.
Let me say this: it's an absolute honor just to even have those guys attend your game and give you their time. Obviously, time is the most precious resource we have. So for those guys to show up, I think speaks about the respect that they have. The other piece, it's a mutual admiration and mutual respect. I think for our guys being in this position, and that's the thing that hopefully our community and our family sees. I had an opportunity to travel a very similar road that these coaches are on right now from a player perspective, even a tad bit from a coaching perspective. And I want our students and our student athletes in our community to use me, right? I mean, man, let's use this opportunity to reach that next level. I mean, man, we have somebody in our community that has forged a relationship. So let's use that to our advantage. And then the third thing for me, it gives the kids in our community an opportunity to pursue a higher level of education, Jim. And that is so important for me, as their mentor and their coach. Obviously basketball is the tool that brings us together, but that basketball is going to stop dribbling at any time. So I think to be able to use that as a leveraging device to help solidify your life from an education standpoint is priceless.
Well, you are priceless, my friend, and so is winning a state title, because it's not coming down. It is on there, and I cannot tell you how happy I am for you. I love you as a person, and I'm so, so happy for all that you guys were able to accomplish, and now you get to try to do it again next year.
We will, man. We're going to enjoy this week, Jim. We're going to tie up the loose ends for a wonderful season, and then next Monday we get back to work, my friend. So we got work to do. But
right back at it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got work to do, my friend. Yeah.
How many? And this had to be great for some players that get eyes on them that may not have gotten that before.
Well, I think what you have seen is you've seen a trickle down effect. So interesting story, Jim. Their freshman year, they get beat 30 in the sectional. The first year that I coached, the first game that I coached them, their sophomore year, we lose 50. 3 years later, they win the state championship. So if you put it in that perspective, right, never mind the intricacies of the day-to-day grind, but just from a perspective of the beginning to the end, I think you can see the sacrifice and the hard work that they put in to get to this point. And that is the thing that I'm most proud of. You have an opportunity, but do you take advantage of that opportunity? And I thought our guys maximized their opportunity.
You are very, very special, my friend, and we are grateful for you anytime you take the time to grace us with your appearance. Very, very happy for you.
Jim, thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure, brother.
Thank you, brother. Sherron Wilkerson, the head coach of the state champion Jeffersonville Red Devils. Appreciate you, sir. Man, that was incredible to appreciate Sherron taking time to get on here with very, very short notice. I'm sure he's worn out, thousands and thousands of messages that he had to return after that. But very, very cool. Very great story to see that as well. Hello, sports fans. Jim Coyle with Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Thank you for stopping by our YouTube channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe and notifications toggle so you never miss a thing. All of our content up here every day. Looking forward to it. Thank you, and we'll see you on the radio.